we're here at South Amboy Riverfront Park, and we're going to talk about ocean pollution. It's a harmful substance put into the environment, into the ocean by humans, and it affects the fish in the sea life, and the fishing and people swimming in the water. It affects them when there's debris and pollution and plastics in the water. Plastics wash up on the shore, and the birds ingest it, all the animals, and they think it's food, and they ingest it, and then they get sick and unfortunately die. And there's some small pieces that the plastic gets broken down, they get biodegraded, but not all the way. They're called nurdles, small pieces of plastic. They get small pieces like this, they get broken down, and they're called nurdles. Some things you find on the beach is some straws, water bottles, people leave the garbage on the beach, and plastic bags, and it gets stuck in the rock. The animals choke on it. Some people, they just litter and throw their garbage at it. We got some fishing wire. When the fish eat the other fish that are contaminated, that's called biomagnification. That means they eat polluted fish, and then they get into their bodies too. You also don't want to leave these water bottles in your car because they get hot and they melt, and they also have a harmful substance from drinking melted plastic, which is called DDTs, which is called dichlorofenyl trichloroethane, and also PCB biphenyls that are industrial, and it also causes cancer and birth defects and liver problems. Okay, there's a place in near off the coast of Hawaii and off the coast of California, near the Western Pacific Current, I think it's called, the Great Pacific Trash Island. It's a marine garbage that humans leave on the beach, caught in the Northern Pacific Gyre ocean current, and creates a garbage island where the current ends up and spins like a vortex and has nowhere else to go. Twice the size of Texas and 9 feet deep in the water, unfortunately. It weighs about 7 million tons, which is trash. That's a ridiculous amount of trash in the water. And it was discovered by, in 1997 by Captain Charles Moore, who was on a yacht race through the Pacific. 14 million pounds of trash is put into the ocean every year by humans. This is insane, but only 1 to 2% of plastics is recycled by each family, unfortunately. In 1972, they issued a clean water ban in the ocean where you can't dump any pollutions into the water. Okay, right here we're going to make an oil spill demonstration. Of course, we would never want this in real life, but we're going to demonstrate what happened in 2010 in the BP oil spill that happened in the Blue Water Horizon in the Gulf of Mexico. 530 million gallons of oil was dumped in the water. It was the cap burst of the pipe. They were extracting the oil. It was 87 days and 10 months to cap the oil spill. It was as big as 3 to 4 states long, and it was about 5 to 7 feet deep. Oil spills usually occur when they're transported or they're loading or extracting the oil. And the oil, as you'll see right here, it's going to start to float. As I put right here, the oil floats. And it kills the marine animals, and then you could see the benthic animals, their bottom, they get affected by the oil because they can't swim out, and they get affected. The coral reef starts to die. All the animals, you could see all this pollution, it gets all murky and dirty. And also they could use skimmers or vacuums on a big ship to skim up the oil, as you can see right over here. And you could see they could start to net it out right over there. The bottom dwellers are the animals that swim on the bottom of the ocean that are like in the abyssal plain, that are like at least 30,000 feet below the water. All the oil sinks down, and unfortunately they can't swim away, and they get covered in oil and die, unfortunately. You see how bad it looks for the environment right there. You never want that to happen. That's why I don't go to BP anymore, because I'm so upset they killed so many animals that I don't even go there. And you can see it causes a mousse right here. A thin layer of the oil builds up and it causes a mousse, a slick layer of oil. It kind of looks like sewage sludge. Wow, look at that. You can see a drop of dawn. Right here we're going to show you non-source pollution. This is unintended, but how it goes down into the ocean. We don't do this on purpose, but after cooking the butter right here, we're going to show you it hardens up, and then it gets clogged in your drain, so you never want to put this down your sink because it hardens up. Okay, we're right here. I'm going to melt it now. After it melts, we'll be right back. Okay, right here we melted the butter, and you can see it's already starting to coagulate as it's starting to harden up. This is what it looked like as it goes down your drain, which is very bad. And then right here you have some oil. This is all what goes down your sink and drain, and then it unfortunately ends up in the ocean right here. The soap after washing your hands and tired from washing the laundry right there, and then that's going to harden up and it's going to create a sewage cake, which is very bad for the environment. There you can see it's going to start to form our sewage cake, which is sometimes found in the ocean and on the beaches as we were cleaning up the beach last year for the beach sweep. You could see all the butter and oil, it all coagulated, and the shampoo and the dish soap, you could see it all coagulated, and you can see that's what gets stuck in your drains. That's why you don't want to put that down your sink or anything, because you can see it's eating through the paper, and it'll cost lots of money for the plumber to fix it. This also ends up in the sewer drains and also unfortunately into the ocean, and then the animals ingest this sometimes. Okay, the next thing, this is a non-source pollution right here when you're cleaning up the yard for like landscaping and you're trying to kill the weeds. You put Roundup or fertilizers or pesticides. Right here, basically my lessons right here, I could just read it off the bottle. Environmental hazards to protect the environment. Do not allow pesticides to enter or run off into the storm drain, drainage, ditches, gutters, or surface waters. Applying this product in calm weather when it's not raining or not predicted for the next 24 hours will help to ensure that wind or rain does not blow or wash pesticides to toxic aquatic areas, so it doesn't end up in the water right here into the stream and kill the animals and stuff. And chemicals can be detected in the groundwater where soil is permeable, particularly where the water table is shallow, may result in groundwater contamination. Did you know pharmaceutical medicine and drugs like prescriptions as you take them after they leave your body, or if you flush them down the toilet, this is not good at all because the male fish are sensitive and they could turn into females from their hormones and antibiotics in their bodies. And also after it goes through the water treatment plant, if you were to flush this down and it goes into the water, the traces, you'd have to drink 100 glasses of water to be exposed to a dose of this medicine after it's been in the water. Okay, right here we're going to talk about coral in the Caribbean and the coral bleaching. It's from coral reefs. They need at least 64 degrees and it can't exceed 86 degrees. Would kill them. They're temperature sensitive. They live in tropical salt water. If the water's too fresh, they will die. 25% of the marine species live in the coral, like slugs, crabs, clams, sea sponges. Coral reefs protect the beach and from beach erosion, and it protects it from flooding. It was used for medical use and fights cancers and infections. And it also provides tourist attractions like snorkeling and scuba diving, but they could get destroyed when boating or fishing because they bump into the coral and it destroys it, or kicking them, and they deteriorate after years, and the sewage and the storms and the fertilizers kill them. Also, coral bleaching is loss of color when they turn white as if bleach was poured in the ocean. From the CO2, high water temperatures from El Nino, and the harmful UV rays, the CO2 builds up in the water. Pollution increases and salinity causes an invasion of diseases and becomes toxic, and it causes bacteria, fungi, and viruses, and already 1/3 of the coral reefs are extinct.